Welcome to the Generation Elevation podcast, a conscious, connected platform for those who are ready to manifest their dream life. I'm your host, Elise Riley, a former PT, now motivational speaker, igniting empowerment and transformation all across the globe. Here at Generation Elevation, we are committed to bringing you the most inspiring guests who will share their stories, wisdom, and advice to help you progress closer to living a life of your own terms. As a high performer, it is natural to hold some sort of level of responsibility for others around you and also yourself. When you are in a team, if you are an athlete or an entrepreneur, or maybe in a study group, a business owner, you have some sort of level of responsibility for other people around you. Your teammates, your employees, your colleagues, your clients, your peers, and also if you are just generally in a relationship, your partner, your friendship groups, whatever situation you're in, know that if you're listening to this podcast right now, it's more than likely that you are a high performer that has some sort of pressure in your life related to the responsibility of showing up as the elite level version of yourself. Now, this can be quite stressful at times when you do not have the tools available to you to help you mitigate any stresses or bad stress so that you can continue to do what you do best without burning out, without feeling exhausted, or manifesting injuries, illnesses, diseases, or anything else like that that really sets you back. If you're listening to this right now, you will probably resonate with the analogy that I like to use, which is all about the feathers, the bricks, and the bus. Now, you probably have experienced all three at some point in your life. The feather is the tickle of life when it tells you, you know what, maybe it's time to change. You should try a different method. You should try a different way. You should have that conversation. But because it's only a little tickle, a little feather, an intuitive nudge of life, usually they are not powerful enough to really enforce change. So what happens is most of us continue to push through this feather until we get hit in the head with a brick. We get the smack in the face with the brick and we go, oh shit. Okay, maybe I should start going to the gym on Monday. Maybe I should really follow through on that diet plan now. Maybe I should really show up on time for my trainings with my team. Maybe I really should watch what I eat. Maybe I really should take into consideration what that employee just said to me, or what my boss just said to me, or what my friends or what my partner just said. Maybe I should go get my knee checked because it's been a bit funny the last couple of weeks. Maybe I should go and do XYZ, and I'm sure you're resonating with these things right now. So maybe you do go change, you start showing up on time, you have that conversation with your partner, you start doing the things that they asked for, that they really wanted to help evolve your relationship. Maybe you did start going to the gym, and maybe you did start going to the physio, or whatever it is that you know that you need to do in order to achieve your goals and live out your vision. But the thing is with a brick, it hit you so hard in the face that you completely forgot you even felt it. So a few weeks, months, or years pass by, and all of a sudden those old habits start creeping back in. Those old ways of being. You slip back into your old ways. Your partner then notices, your teammates notice, your performance decreases, maybe everything kind of just comes to a plateau. A lot of people stay stuck here. And a lot of people also then get the bus. And the bus can sometimes be a legitimate bus. However, I hope not for your case. but it feels like life hits you with a giant bus where it forces you to stop and to finally go, holy shit, I must change. I cannot do this anymore. And maybe you have experienced this once in your life where someone that you love has passed away. You hear the news that this person is gone. Or maybe the doctor is about to tell you that you cannot play your sport for the next year because you've just done your ACL and that you need to do your rehab. That your partner wants a separation or a divorce. That your studies come through with your exams and you failed. Whatever that thing is for you that really stops you and goes, oh, whoa, ouch, where you cannot continue your old ways of being. I speak on this because most high performers who are experiencing a high level responsibility in whatever role they play in life, when stressed, usually do the following 5 things, which I'm going to talk about in today's podcast, which probably are not helping your success and your progress. So if this is you right now, if you're feeling a bit of pressure in your life, stress, feeling overwhelmed, a little bit anxious, this episode is for you. If I mention anything that you are doing right now, I'm going to give you some options and alternatives so that you can continue progressing towards your goals without having to go through these feathers, brick, buses moments. We want to try and pick up these little inklings and intuitive nudges at the feather stage. We don't want it to get to the bus. So before I get into today's episode, I just wanted to say thank you so much for following my show and tuning in to the Generation Elevation podcast. If you find this episode helpful, please take a screenshot, share it to your story. Know that I also have a Generation Elevation Facebook group. You can find me posting a lot in there, and also on Instagram at Elise Riley. So if you do enjoy it, make sure to share it to your friends, to your loved ones, to another high performer that also needs to hear this too. So the 5 things that you're probably doing when you're stressed out that may not be the best path forward would be, number 1, doing it alone. How many times have you gone to do something or accomplish something that you've never done before, and even though you've never done it before, you're committed to trying to figure it out all on your own? That maybe your parents or your family or your friends have achieved that thing that you want to do, yet instead of asking them to help you out, delegating tasks, you do it all on your own. It could simply be if you are just at home asking your partner to help you with the chores. Yet, instead of asking for help, you do it all on your own. It could be that you keep plateauing in your performance, and instead of getting a trainer, it's like that mindset of, oh, I already know it, like I've just got to work harder, and so you keep pushing without getting a trainer. It could be that in your career, you are finding that you are struggling and worried about delegating tasks to people that may not actually do it as well that you do, right? That perfection mindset, fear of delegating to other people in case they don't do it as perfect as you, and instead doing it all on your own, taking all of in that workload, maybe even paying yourself less than the people that work for you just because you don't feel like you deserve it. Doing it all on your own adds so much more stress to your life than actually asking for help. In the past, I would try and do everything on my own. Everything. Because I knew that I could do a lot of things 10 times faster than everybody else. I knew that I could do it 10 times better than everybody else, especially during high school when they would assign group tasks. I was that person that would do it for the entire group. And the thing with that is, you become so independent on yourself that even when you're struggling, trying to figure it out all on your own will keep you blocked and keep you stagnant. Because if you're mitigating or navigating through an experience that you have never experienced before, then asking for help will fast track your timeline, fast track your progress, because you are automatically learning from the other person's mistakes that they made in the same position that you are in now. That is why hiring a coach or a mentor is so beneficial for whatever your goal is, whether it is weight loss, hiring a personal trainer, whether it is accelerating your performance and your mindset to the next level, hiring a mentor, hiring a coach, a business coach, and then also potentially your relationship is breaking down, hiring a relationship therapist, a relationship coach to help accelerate and elevate whatever it is that you are wanting to improve on right now. Hiring a nanny to look after your kids, taking your kids to daycare, or it could be hiring a cleaner, hiring someone to cook your meals for you. Whatever it is that is taking up so much time that you are taking responsibility for, that potentially is actually not really elevating you, that is actually more so stressing you out, can take up so much of your time, energy, and money. So therefore, asking for help will fast track you past these hard times and alleviate any stress that you may be feeling. Number 2, the second thing that high performers do to handle stress that may not actually be that helpful is keep pushing. How many of you listening to this right now have felt their body go niggly injury, or you get the sniffles, or maybe your partner says, I need to have a chat, or maybe your coach is like, that's not good enough, or whatever it is, right? Where you just know that life's like, maybe I should slow it down. But the thing is, if your motivation is coming from pain, if your motivation is to prove everybody wrong or to make someone else proud, which is what I see in a lot of high-performing athletes, is their motivation to succeed is because of their parents, not actually for themselves, right? If your motivation is coming from pain, you will ignore these little body cues that are so important to pick up on. You will ignore the feathers, you will ignore the bricks, because the pain of not living up to others' standards or not living up to others' expectations is far more painful than the pain of pushing through, getting injured, or getting sick, right? When we push through, the issue with this is we then create those small niggly issues and problems to be much bigger than what they originally were. So if you don't listen to your body, if you don't listen to what's going on around you in your friendships, in your relationships, when the dust settles, that thing is going to be expanded, right? That issue will be magnified. So please, please, please listen to your body. Stop. Pause. It's okay. And if you're fearful of that, which most likely is the case if your motivation is from pain, know that by working on your mindset and releasing any of these fears, you will then be way more kinder to yourself, which will actually help elevate your performance because you'll be performing from a less stressed, bad stress place. Number 3, which ties in perfectly, is a lot of high performers, when they're stressed out, will suppress, avoid, deny their emotions, right? How many times have you experienced major stress in your life and held back a cry or parked that emotion for later to never be dealt with again? Where someone says something to you that cuts you so deep, and instead of communicating or having a conversation, you hide it away. When you suppress or oppress these emotions, anger, sadness, fear, grief, guilt or shame, insecurity, anxiousness, if you suppress any of these things and you don't allow them to flow and channel them in a healed and integrated way, what happens is this energy actually stays in your body. And what this looks like over time is really clear aging. If you look at an elderly person, 2 elderly people, one who has suppressed their emotions over their whole entire lifetime versus someone who has freely expressed who they are, integrated in their emotional intelligence, one will be slumped over wrinkly and holding the weight of the world, while the other will be out living like they're young. I know you know those people. So if you are someone that doesn't really know how to channel your emotions, if you don't know how to properly integrate these higher energy forces, like anger is a big energy to handle. And if you are not used to handling it and instead you avoid conflict, right? When you feel anger in your body, it can feel a bit out of control. If you feel sadness in your body, it can feel out of control, which can be quite scary. If this is the case for you, I highly recommend hiring a mentor or a coach like myself that can help facilitate you through these emotions so that you can be safely guided to let them go, to release them from your body so that you no longer have to perform from a place of scarcity, fear, and pain. Because when you start performing from a place of inspiration, motivation, and passion and purpose, right, you will find that your results will accelerate because the vibration you then become and resonate at then attracts those higher vibrational opportunities and experiences to you. If you want to learn more about vibration, manifestation, and law of attraction, I have multiple other episodes on my page that you can scroll down and just look up attraction, manifestation, law of attraction, and you'll find them as well. Okay, so number 4. The fourth thing that high performers do that probably isn't helping them when they're stressed is multitasking. How many of you, when you're stressed, like to multitask? Oh, if I multitask, I'll get more things done. And this isn't necessarily the case, because when you are focusing on multiple things at once, you aren't giving the presence and attention that each task needs. And therefore, you actually have a multitask residue that when you are completing the second task to your first, the first task's energy is still in your mind and in your brain for the second. So you're not actually fully focused on the second thing that you do. So it's kind of like when you're having a conversation with someone and they're not fully present. This is what you are doing to the task that you're trying to complete. So the negatives of this is that you're completing each task half-assed, so you're not doing the best that you can do. The second thing is that it actually lowers your IQ. There's been studies to show that multitasking lowers your IQ because it is not allowing you to have full concentration and practice having full presence and concentration when you are completing a task. The third issue that comes up with multitasking is massive exhaustion, burnout, and energy drainage, right? How many of you have tried to complete a gazillion things in a day all at once to then finish the day feeling absolutely exhausted, right? This is one of the biggest things that will sap your energy. So if you are stressed, I highly recommend instead to focus on one thing at a time. Break it down into just 3 simple steps. How can you, instead of allow this big overwhelming task to freak you out, and instead filter it into 3 small steps that are easy and applicable to you? The fifth and final thing that high performers do when they're stressed out that probably isn't helping their progress is overcommitting to tasks by setting really big, ambitious tasks of to do for the day and then getting to the end of the day and feeling overwhelmed because maybe they haven't gotten through every single thing on that list, right? The biggest mistake here is what happens is when you put a lot of things on your to-do list for the day, and let's say you don't actually complete all of them, high performers are really hard on themselves. So you may hear that negative self-talk come in. Why am I being so lazy? I am not doing enough. And then potentially you sacrifice things like sleep and time with your family, with your friends, to then do these tasks that probably don't really need to get done for today. Where can you delegate? Where are you saying yes to things when actually they're not elevating your energy or they're not necessary for your progress and for your growth? What I would say, instead of writing a to-do list that is 1,000,000 miles long, write 5 key things that you need to get done today, right? 1 thing for yourself, 1 thing for your work, 1 thing for your friends and family, one thing for exercise, and one thing for your nutrition or whatever other habit you want to put on there. 5 things that you have to get done today, okay? And prioritize them in order of when you'll do them. Stack these habits together, and this will help alleviate so much stress from having your task everywhere and no plan at all. It's like going into a grocery store without a plan, knowing that you're going to cook a meal with a lot of ingredients. If you go in and just buy all the ingredients off the top of your head, it's going to feel overwhelming. You're going to be there for a long time. However, if you write a list with the main key ingredients that you need, right, you will go into that shopping center and you will get everything that you need, get straight out of there and save literally half the time. You'll do it in half the time. So those are my 5 things in regards to what high performers do when they're extremely stressed that isn't probably helping your progress. So if you resonated with these, please be sure to let me know. Make sure you send me a message on Instagram and also share this to your socials, to your friends, to your family, to any other high performer that you know which would also resonate. Much love, guys, and I will see you all in the next episode. Mwah.
Thank you for being a part of the Generation Elevation community. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to leave a 5-star rating, written review, share, and tag me on Instagram at elise.riley. Until next time, keep loving, keep learning, and keep rising.